What's up, everybody? Welcome in to Max Marquee matchup here for week 3. Gonna have a truncated Max Marquee matchup. Just gonna be myself kind of talking through this awesome matchup, a divisional round rematch from last year in which the Eagles were able to take out the Los Angeles Rams. This time, rematch once again in Lincoln Financial in Philadelphia. Going to be excited to watch these two teams. These are two teams that I think expect to be competing for the NFC Championship crown ultimately. Obviously, two experienced quarterbacks, two quarterbacks that can call themselves Super Bowl champions. Ultimately, Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford as well. Two very good, defensive units in the way in which they're coached very well. Obviously, two offensive units that can get explosive plays just in a little bit of a different way. Eagles struggling a little bit to start out, Rams a little bit up and down as well. But we'll talk about this from multiple perspectives. I think the Rams need this game probably a little bit more for a confidence booster, in my opinion, just on how they're trying to come in here, prove that they can compete with the Eagles at a high level. And honestly, they probably feel like they should have won the game last year if it wasn't for some things not going their way. So with that being said, let's jump into this matchup coming up on Sunday. I'm excited to get into. So beginning on the Eagles offensive side of the ball versus the Rams defense, I'm going to be very fascinated to see how Jalen Hurts kind of responds to some of the blitz looks that the Rams are going to end up putting out there. We know the Rams have an awesome defensive line from a pass rushing unit, but it is going to be fascinating to see if they try to get some extra pressure early on Jalen Hurts, who did struggle with the blitz last week ultimately versus the Chiefs. Spagnuolo did a really good job at continuing to send that pressure after Jalen Hurts. And when you see the offensive structure for the Eagles right now, they are just lacking consistent answers versus the blitz, which has become a big issue. And that's really what it is. It's not like Jalen Hurts necessarily panics versus the blitz. He does have limitations from that perspective, but you just see that this offense is lacking quick answers to get the ball out of his hands to open guys. They haven't been able to create yak opportunities. They're the last in the league, or the second to last in the league as far as yak per attempt as well. And they're really siloed on offense right now, whereas normally a pass when they're in shotgun, they're more pass happy as far as the rate is concerned, and they're more run heavy when it comes to under center as well. So really, this is a big thing as far as the offensive structure of the Eagles getting better over the course of the year. Obviously, they're 2-0, still really good from that perspective, and they can lean on the run to continue to be efficient from that perspective as well, because obviously their rushing attack with the offensive line with Jalen Hurts' legs, and of course Saquon Barkley is stout. But can you create explosives down the field to try and create more space for this offense to operate is going to be a massive question mark for this offense moving forward throughout the entirety of the year, and specifically in this game versus the Rams. Yes, Saquon Barkley had two very long runs in that division round playoff game. Yes, you can expect him to have success on the ground for sure, but can you expect it to be the thing that carries you over the top versus a Rams offense that looks like it is primed to put up some points? It's going to be the question mark going into this game as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and flip to the other side of the ball and see those Los Angeles Rams and how they match up with this Vic Fangio Eagles defense. So, look, the story of the Eagles defense versus the Rams offense really comes down to what you saw in the division round playoff last year, in my opinion. Vic Fangio obviously is known for his zone-heavy scheme and the way in which he has things schemed up on the back end. However, last year in that division round matchup, they win man versus the Rams because they trusted their cornerbacks to match up versus the wide receivers, in addition to putting extra eyes on Puka Nacua as well. That was a formula that generally did work for them on a consistent basis. And honestly, because of the Rams' struggles versus man coverage throughout the entirety of last year, that's why they went out and got that guy right there, number 17, Davante Adams, who has gotten off to a good start through 2 weeks. He has 6 first down receptions versus man coverage alone. He is getting the ball about half the time as far as the Matthew Stafford dropbacks versus man coverage. The ball every other time is getting to Davante Adams, because that is why he was specifically brought in, to beat man coverage on a consistent basis and be the answer in the ways in which Puka Nacua is the answers for zone for the Rams offense. So this is what this comes down to. Do the Eagles go man heavy again? And do they have a better way to deal with Davante Adams than the first two opponents for the Rams have? That's going to be the thing that swings what this Rams offense versus Eagles defense matchup is going to look like. With that being said, let's go ahead and get to my best bets and then my game pick. So, look, as far as my best bets for this game, I'm going to go with Davante Adams for 70 plus yards. That is, I think this is going to be, again, Vic Fangio is going to lean more onto those man concepts, because he's going to be a little bit concerned about, can the Eagles get home on a consistent basis, just rushing four and playing zone behind it. That is going to be a significant question mark for what I think that this game is going to look like, because Jalen Carter's got off to a slow start, because Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith have not been great getting after the pass, but they've had to rely upon Zadarius Smith and and Joshua Uche off the edge too. So I think Davante Adams has a very successful day versus this main coverage looks that Vic Fangio goes to. And then on the flip side, I think Saquon Barkley has himself another game. Obviously, he had those very two long runs versus the Rams in the division round game last year. I don't expect him to rip off like it was 150 yards worth of these two touchdowns ultimately, but I do think that he gets over 90 plus rushing yards. And I will say my ultimate game pick is the Rams to win this game. You could take him at plus 3.5 as far as the line is currently. You can parlay that together plus 600 odds. I think you have yourself a nice little day as far as this game is concerned. Thank you guys so much for joining.